All right, so you can't see me, but I'm going to go ahead and do lesson 1 in chapter 10 for ancient Rome about daily life. So I'll show this quick video here.
Rome has been called the Eternal City. Today it is the capital city of Italy. In ancient times it was the heart of the Roman Republic and the capital of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was the superpower of its day. It dominated the world for nearly 500 years and at its height conquered an area about the size of the United States. Rome was the empire's center of power, a huge city on a modern scale, and home to a population in the millions. Rome had magnificent public buildings, huge entertainment complexes, mansions for the wealthy, along with crowded multi-story apartments for other people, whom they called plebeians. And like cities today, Rome had thousands of restaurants, from fast food stalls to banquet halls. Romans had their own version of fast foods as well. Only the houses of well-off Romans had kitchens, so millions of Romans bought their cooked food at corner stores, bakeries, and snack bars that were found on almost every block in Rome. Imagine that you and your friends are living in ancient Rome. You get ready for school with a light meal of bread and fruit, maybe with some olives or dates on the side. Your lunch is similar, a light meal of bread, fruit, and cheese. When school is over, you spend time with your friends and then head home for dinner. Your dining room table doesn't have chairs. It has couches, which sit 3 people each. To eat, you lie down on one of the couches, prop yourself up on a pillow, and rest your left elbow on the table. The only utensil you have is a spoon. Otherwise, you get to eat with your fingers. For a beverage, most Romans have a popular drink called muslin, a kind of watered-down wine sweetened with honey. Today, in countries and cultures around the world, there are foods for every day and foods for special occasions and holidays. This was true for the Romans as well. So, let's get back to your imaginary life in the Roman world, where your parents are giving a formal banquet. The evening begins as your father makes an offering to the household gods called the Lares. Musicians play flutes and other instruments in the background. Banquet feast foods are amazing, and you're lucky because tonight they're serving your favorite appetizer, stuffed, fattened dormice sprinkled with honey and poppy seeds. Like any good banquet, this one has several main courses. Wild sow with its belly full of live birds, boiled stingray and eels, roast peacock, gazelle and antelope, pheasant brains, and flamingo tongues. Many hours later, it's time for dessert. The dessert course is called the secundae mensae, which is Latin for second table. That's because after dinner, the entire table is replaced with a second table, full of desserts like fruits cooked in wine, nuts, honey cakes, and stuffed dates. After the desserts come more entertainment. Dancers, jugglers, a poetry reading, more music, maybe even a private gladiator fight. When the guests are ready to go home, they get out their napkins. People bring their own napkins to a Roman feast, big enough to take away leftovers in a kind of ancient Roman doggy bag. In many ways, our eating habits today have a lot in common with the ancient Romans. We eat 3 meals a day, and our cities are full of fast food places. We have specialty foods from around the world, just as the Romans had specialty foods from around the empire. We have banquets that are important social events, and we like to make our meals relaxing and entertaining. Our likes and dislikes in food might be different, and you might not even want to think about what a stuffed dormouse tastes like, but our feelings about food are very similar.
Okay, we're going to go to the next one. So that was kind of crazy, huh? Some of that food. I don't think I want to try the brains or the tongue, but you never know. Could be good. All right, a Roman house. Many wealthy Romans lived in homes built around courtyards. View more. Okay, so many Roman houses had shops at the front facing the street. The shops were sometimes rented to tenants who used them for both business and living quarters. Tenants slept in a raised area in the back of the shop. Rented shops were not connected to the rest of the house. The shutters could be closed at night for privacy. Dining room. Roman dining room was called a triclinium because the dining platform had 3 sides. The dining platform was covered with pillows for comfort. Diners would recline on their sides and lean on an elbow to eat. The most important guests sat in the middle section of their host's right hand. In the wealthy homes, dinners were luxurious and included entertainment between courses. The atrium, guests were greeted in the atrium. Water from the rooftop collected in the pool below. The atrium was often used as a living quarters or family room. Wealthy families often displayed busts of important ancestors in the atrium to impress their guests. So that was something important, was having, offerings to the gods and altars for the gods and things like that. So here's a picture of what it might look like. This looks pretty fancy. This is a wealthy house. So that's the kitchen. This is the library, courtyard, dining room. Family members ate while reclining on couches. Guests were entertained in the living room. Rainwater from the gutters collected in the pool below. Bedrooms. Some homes had shops or workshops that opened onto the street. That is pretty cool. Roles of family members. All right, so let's see the different roles here. So father had complete control over the family, responsible for education of the children, ran business or owned land. Mother ran the household. Few worked outside the home. If wealthy, had more rights, most had few rights and lacked full citizenship. Son became adult at age 15. If wealthy, went to school. If not wealthy, could join army or work in family business, married later than young women. Daughters married at age 14. If wealthy, received private lessons at home. Livia stood out among Roman women. Learn more about her in her biography. Livia Augustus, as she was later called, stood about among Roman women. As the wife of Caesar Augustus for 52 years, she was a symbol of Roman marriage and family. She was also seen as a model of Roman morality. When her grandson Claudius became emperor, she took the title of Augustus and held the position of high honor. Drag and drop life of Roman women. Wealthy, could own land, run business, okay? Had leisure, mostly did housework, that would be here. Helped husband and family run shop, probably here. Managed large household. Rarely worked outside the house. Went to the theater, races, or other sporting events. Would leave mostly to shop. What did I get wrong? Went to the theater, races, or other sporting events. That was the not wealthy, I guess. Let's try again and check it. All right. All right, so Rome was one of the largest cities in ancient world, had a population of more than 1 million. Rome's population was made up of wealthy, poor, and enslaved people. I was reading that about 40% of people were actually slaves. Family was central to Roman life. Though large, patriarchal families gradually shifted to smaller families with more shared rights. Only males of wealthy families went to school, and only women of wealthy families gained rights. All right, those are all the roads. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of roads. So they reached where ships could not. Ancient Roman glassmaking. This is an example of a glass object that were made and traded throughout Roman Empire. They recycled glass then, just as they do today. Roman theater. Romans attending the theater sat in stadiums like this one, built in the 1st century BCE. They were much like those in sports arenas today. They had medicine. So Roman and modern medicine. Ancient Roman medicine was advanced for its time. The Romans started medical schools to make sure that all doctors had the same kind of knowledge and training. They started hospitals, and they had special army doctors to care for sick or wounded soldiers. They maintained good public health by having clean running water, toilets, sewers, and public baths. They boiled medical instruments before using them, and they understood the dangers of asbestos and lead. The symbol of the Roman god of healing is a snake entwined around a staff and an image that still symbolizes medicine today. Like the Romans before them, modern doctors and surgeons realized the importance of sterilizing or cleaning their instruments before using them. Also, in the tradition of the Romans, today's medical students receive years of intense training, and present-day armies continue to use medical officers. Modern medicine relies heavily on the study of anatomy, a science pioneered by the ancient Greeks and Romans. We have Roman numerals, which you guys all probably know about. So this is, so I know that one's 5, that one's 1, this one's 10. Ooh, I don't know. I'm guessing this is 100. So maybe this is 99. This would be 1,000. No, wait. No, maybe that. Ooh, what's 50 though? Maybe that's 50. Let's see if I got this right. Yes! Okay. Roman architecture. We talked about this a lot kind of already, but some parts of Roman aqueducts ran above the ground, supported by arches. Most, however, ran underground. Pipes were made of stone, terracotta, leather, wool, lead, and bronze. Those that carried water to Rome began as far as 57 miles away, and gravity was the only power that moved the water along, flowing downhill. This required careful planning by the Roman engineers. They're also beautiful structures. Virgil, we talked a little bit about him too. Already. Virgil is one of the ancient Rome's greatest poets. He grew up on a farm, and his poetry often reflects his love of the land and people of the Italian countryside. Virgil was educated in Milan and later became a member in the court of emperor. Science and art. Roman art, writing, theater, architecture, and science were influenced by the Greeks. Romans learned about the anatomy of the human body from the works of the great Dr. Galen. Roman art and literature showed both the virtues of and the flaws of gods and people. Roman advances in engineering and architecture influenced future generations. All right.